Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero took place, and this was the most significant moment of the fight. In the second round, Ryan Garcia down due to a double left hook from one Rolly Romero. And after this, all of the fight in Ryan Garcia's heart seemingly left the ring and went for a walk because Ryan Garcia didn't try to win after this. He was kind of just content, coasting until the very end. And I think it was because he felt the power of Rolly Romero and he didn't want to feel it again. But my thing is this. Not only if fans are paying for the pay-per-view, right? I know this was a free event. The people there, I don't think they paid for their tickets, but the people watching certainly did, right? It was a pay-per-view event. Plus, you got Turkey Al Sheikh spending money for Ryan Garcia. I think he paid like $20 million for him to go out there and perform and to fight. And not only to fight, but to fight and try to win. And if you're Ryan Garcia and you're coasting to a loss because you're content in round 10, like, hey, it looks like we lost this one. Let's just get the bag and go home with, without getting knocked out. I think it's lame. I think it's lame, and I think it's important to talk about because Ryan Garcia leads the charge for this new generation. This new generation is led by the Devin Haney's, by the Teofimo Lopez's, by the Ryan Garcias, by the now Rolly Romeros of the world. These are the forefront of the welterweight division and of boxing, the lightweight division and things like that, right? These guys. And the truth is, they ain't nothing compared to the past. This is our four kings, you know what I'm saying? Like, my father had Hearns, Hagler, Leonard, Duran. I got Ryan Garcia, bro. Like, what kind of ripoff is this, man? Come on, man. And something has to be said. Something has to be said. And I wonder if it's because there's too much money involved in the sport now. Maybe it's social media that makes it to where you don't even need to be the best boxer in the room to be the headliner, right? Nobody cares if you're Shakur Stevenson and you're some boxing technician, masterclass kind of guy, right? Nobody cares ultimately because we want to see entertainment and we want to see the theatrics. Someone like Ryan Garcia brings the theatrics. At least he did in his last fight going into it against Devin Haney. And another thing, not for nothing, maybe I'm bugging out, let me know, but he looked different, didn't he, in his body? Didn't he look different going into this fight than he did against Devin Haney? He did test positive for Ostarine. That's a big deal. This was his comeback fight, and he didn't look great, man. He did not look great. And I'll be honest, there was nothing that I saw in this fight that tells me he beats Devin Haney in a rematch. There was nothing that I saw in this fight that tells me he beats Rolly Romero in a rematch. Or, Tank, if you even want to go that way. You know what I mean? Like, Ryan Garcia, to me, did not look great at all tonight. He looked like a guy who knew he was getting a nice check, and he just wanted to go home and collect the check because he was not trying to win this fight after a certain amount of time. And it was clear he wanted no parts of the power that Rolly Romero possessed. Credit due to Rolly Romero for having such power and commanding that much respect from his opponent. But, there's a fine line, man. At some point, you gotta question the fighter. And you gotta question the heart in that fighter, Don't get it twisted. Don't remember this. Ryan Garcia is the same guy who took a knee against Tank Davis, and he literally waited until the ref said 10, and then he stood up. Ryan Garcia's heart has been questioned before. This is a guy who takes performance-enhancing drugs, right? Ostarine, he did take that. That's not a legend. He tested positive for Ostarine. I don't have to say allegedly or nothing. He did that. So, you could argue that he's a cheater. So the question is, this is a guy who may not have the heart. Maybe this is just a pretty boy boxer like people said he was. I said it back in high school, I think, when Ryan Garcia was making waves on Vine, I think. Maybe not on Vine, but Ryan Garcia was making waves as a social media influencer boxer at first, 100%. And over time, we've got to watch him grow up in the sport. And maybe those criticisms have come to manifest at this point. Maybe Ryan Garcia don't have it in him, truthfully. Maybe when things are going well and when he's the hammer, He's a really good hammer. But when it's his time to be the nail, he crumbles. He's not a very good nail. You get me? And in this sport, Floyd says it all the time. Floyd Mayweather said it to Conor McGregor throughout the whole lead up to the fight. He said, it's okay, you got to be able to give it and take it. You got to be able to take it just as good as you give it, you know? And it's easy when you're in there and, you know, you're throwing punches. But what happens when it's the other guy's turn and you're catching your breath and you're moving backwards? You know? What happens then? Are you able to make it to the next round? Are you able to recover? Are you able to go out there in the next round and win the next round after you just lost a round? Or do you just cover up and you don't really open yourself up much or try as hard because you know you might get countered and hurt like you were earlier? And do you just try to go the distance and coast and collect the check? You know? That's the difference between the fighters and the athletes. You know what I mean? There's athletes in this sport, and then there's fighters in this sport. The fighters are the ones that bite down on the mouthpiece and they go to the bitter end, and they're going to try to, you know, they might get hurt a couple times trying to win. They might. But that's okay, because you tried to win till the very end. You get me? Ryan Garcia, if you were watching this fight, you could tell around like round 7, 8, most definitely round 10, you could tell. Round 10, you could tell this guy was happy going home a loser. He just didn't want to get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I'm turned off of Ryan Garcia. I'm good if he goes back to making streaming videos with Neon and Vitali. You know what I'm saying? Go back to that, bro. Go back to that. Because this boxing stuff, man, after that performance, this ain't for you, dog. This ain't for you, because everybody who paid, not only Turkey Al Sheikh, but everybody who paid for the pay-per-view got robbed because of that whack-ass performance you put up. You know? Let's be for real. We're not just paying just because, ooh, you get to see Ryan Garcia perform. You're not like that, bro. You're not like that. We're paying to be entertained. We want to see the left hook by Ryan Garcia. We want to see the left hook to the body. That's what we want to see from Ryan Garcia. We want to see Ryan Garcia show out and perform. We don't want to see Ryan Garcia stay here and coast till the end. That's not what we want to see. So, that's my take. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, follow for more, and of course, leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.